Page 75. Page 75. Headphones or subtitles, please. Pick one. Read along and help me out. Subtracting rational numbers. To subtract rational numbers, you can apply the same rules you used to subtract integers. What were those rules? So, -5 minus -5. The same rules were subtracting a negative is like adding a positive. And then another example is -5 minus 4. You're starting negative, going more negative. So here's 0, here's -5, and you're going more in the negative direction, so that's going to be -9. And that one will equal 0. So here's an example. Starting positive, and you're going in the negative direction. Okay? So in this example here, example 1, you're starting negative, and you're going more in the negative direction. 1, 2, so it should be -8.5. You're starting here in the positive, but you're going in the negative direction. So start at 1.5 is going to be right here, and then go 2 in the negative direction. 1, 2, and you should get to -1/2. For this problem here, you're starting in the negative direction, and you're going more negative. So go to -2.25 is going to be about right here, and then you're going to go 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then go 0.5 up to -7.75. For me, I think it's easier to notice that this is same signs, so you need to do add and keep. So if you look over here, you've got 2.25 and 5.5. Just line up the decimals. Okay? Line them up. Add 5, 7, 7, but then keep it negative. Subtracting negative rational numbers. To subtract negative rational numbers, move in the opposite direction on the number line. So here we're subtracting a negative. You know that subtracting a negative is like adding a positive. So this example right here, you need to make it so that you're adding. And then when you're adding fractions and decimals, when you're adding fractions, you need a common denominator. So -1/3 plus 5/6. So you need a common denominator. So multiply that by 2 and that by 2, and you're going to get 2/6. Now, remember that that's negative, so you have -2/6 plus 5/6. So this is different signs. So you need to subtract. And then take the sign of the larger number. So 5 minus 2 is 3. And then keep it. Take the sign of the larger number that's positive, so it's going to be larger. And then you can simplify this, because 3/6 equals 1/2. Compare addition of negative numbers on a number line to subtraction of negative numbers on a number line. So 5 plus -6, here's 0, here's 5, negative 6 goes right here to negative 1. And then 5 minus 6, we'll put that one in red. So 5 minus 6 is going to be negative 1. Remember that adding a negative, you move to the left, and subtracting, you move to the left. I'm skipping that. Okay, use a number line to find each difference. 0.25 is positive, and it's right here. And then negative 150 is right here. But remember, subtracting a negative is like adding a positive. So 0.25 plus 150 equals 1.75. So this problem here, this is negative, but you're subtracting a negative, so it makes that positive. But you also need common denominators. So no, so you need to change those. So 1/2 change this to 2 over 4, and that's 3 over 4. But remember that this is negative, so you need to subtract. It's different signs subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. And then take the sign of the larger number. So negative 1/2 is right here. And then you're moving in the positive direction because you're subtracting a negative. How far? You're moving 3/4. So 1, 2, 3/4. And it gets you up to positive 1/4. And that's the same answer that we have right there. Page 77, headphones or subtitles, please. Okay, so Joe is diving 2.5 feet below sea level. He decides to descend. Descend is negative, and he's already negative. Okay, so he's starting negative at 2.5, and he's going more negative. He's going 7, so go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. Do we end at 10 here? We end at 10 here. Good. So move to the left. You're subtracting because you're subtracting a positive number. Let me double check that. Yeah. Joe is below sea level. Use a number line to find each difference or sum. So you're starting negative and you're going more negative. So here you are at -3 and you're going 1, 2, 3, so you end up at -6. This problem, you're starting negative and you're going more negative. Subtracting is the same as adding a negative. 1, 2, 3, and you end at -6. Make a conjecture about how to change a subtraction problem into an addition problem. So 10 minus 5 is the same . Okay. Okay, now we're on page 78. A cave explorer climbed from an elevation of -11 to an elevation of -5. So they were negative, but they're climbing up. So starting at -11, count the number of units, vertical number line, up to 5. So here we are, -11, and they go up to 5. How far is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They climbed 6 meters, and it was vertical distance, so the vertical means up. 11 meters and 5 meters, the distance between them is 6 meters. So remember, subtracting a negative is like adding a positive, so that equals -6. So take the absolute value of the difference, and that equals 6. Remember, absolute value is positive. Okay, so the vertical distance is 6 meters. Does it matter which way you subtract the values when finding distance? Nope. You just need to know that you'll take the absolute value because it's always positive. Would the same methods work if both the numbers were positive? What if one of the numbers were positive and the other negative? So yes, you just take absolute value of the difference.